Hi there, that's right, great and glorious, soon to be famous one day, Nick Dutch back on the camera for another delightful tarot reading. And today, we've got someone who's become a relatively regular inquirer. Not going to mention the name, not going to mention the YouTube channel, but this particular individual has got some serious problems with her landlady. Alright, she's moved 5,000 miles to be in this property. And the property itself has got some serious issues. She's being charged a fortune for the rent, and basically wants to know whether some kind of solution can happen. The inquirer's very concerned because she feels that if the rent was lowered, she could then use some of the extra money to be able to do some renovation work on the property itself. Now, before I even do this particular reading, we've got to think carefully about the nature of the problem itself and what's required. It sounds to me like this is probably a legal issue, and you might need to get some extra advice, possibly even from your local governments, or maybe there is an actual advice agency for people who've got problems with their landlords and landladies. Now, you're going to have to do a bit more internet research to try and work out how this can be overcome, or whether there is some other benefits or some other scheme which you can get your teeth into that can possibly help out. Now, think carefully, because there may well be a result in law, and there may be a solution which you could then sell the landlady to try and help her to think that, yeah, you know, the property will be improved upon, and therefore if you choose to leave, then essentially, you know, the landlady will get a much better quality property to rent out with fewer problems. So that should be your first line of attack, not coming to me. However, I'm still going to do this reading anyway, and we'll just see what comes through and see what the reading says. When you've got a problem of this nature, it's wise and advisable just to treat the readings as just that moment of contemplation that you need just to chill yourself out. Alright? And not necessarily take what the reading says to be the gospel truth. Because I am a reader, I'm not God. Okay? I can make mistakes, the reading can make mistakes, you can make mistakes in interpreting what I say. There's all kinds of little areas of inefficiency here, which means that the words of the reader and the situation of the reader and the moment of the actual reading session itself might not necessarily be the place where you should be going to get the quality of information that you actually need. So there's all kinds of things for you to think about, and to think about the purpose of the reading in your life and what it's there to do for you, or indeed whether it is in fact just practically and logistically speaking, okay, if you don't know the word, look it up in a dictionary, logistically, okay, whether it's logistically appropriate or feasible for you to have a reading and to use the reading within your life. Now, if you were to get on the phone with me, maybe we could actually use this as an opportunity to bounce some ideas forwards and backwards. Alright, but if it's just this one-way method of a video, it actually makes it harder for yourself to see whether there is anything really useful coming in this particular reading video that you can actually use to solve the problem. And it sounds to me like you've got a problem that needs to be solved. It's not necessarily a question of, if I talk to Nick, everything's going to be okay. Alright? So, slightly different, as it were, energy about the whole situation there. But let's see what comes through. As I hope you can tell from that little rant I've just done, I am trying to do the work that I'm doing in an ethical way. I'm not here to, you know, distort people's minds or to just take money from the weak or whatever it is the professional tarot readers are being accused of this particular week, okay? Alright? Your reading's complex. There is a sense, there is a sense of there being some benefits, as it says here, gain. There's a sense of there being some kind of agreement which can be struck somehow, and there is a sense of there being a result. It's feeling a bit tenuous and weak because we don't have any signs here relating to complete victory. It strikes me more as a sense of compromise, a sense of trying to find a middle ground despite the fact that things are a bit hard at the moment. There is going to be a way in which you can try and get some kind of resolution here and try and sort the problem out. Big signs of interference, which is suggesting it's not going to be a perfect outcome. And yeah, there is a sense of you being controlled by an individual who's basically a bit emotionally passionate. Is it a bad reading? It's not saying the whole thing's going to be totally detrimental to you, so I think you can chill out. But it's not a good reading in the fact it's not saying, yeah, everything's going to be wonderful, you know, just party on, have fun, it's going to be great. Because that's not the kind of situation that you're involved in at the moment. Is it? Okay? So these are things you got to think about. It's not a perfect situation. But do look out for some legal advice, because I think you need that. Alright? Alright, this has been Nick Dutch doing the tarot reading as well as providing a bit of advice, because obviously a tarot reading is a combination between an advice service and an entertainment service and a therapeutic service and all the rest of that. And essentially its mechanism is contemplation and conversation. So I do hope you've got something from that, from what I've said, because the reading itself is what I say to you. Okay, it's not just something that's black and white, and the reader is not an infallible source of information. You've got to remember that as well. But anyway, I will still bid you good fortune, God and or Goddess and or none of the above bless. Nick Dutch signing out for now.